Smouldering unrest. Inequitable labor capital relations could hit India's investment destination credo. Inequitable means not equal or unequal. So unequal labor capital relations. So the inequalities between the labor and the capital, those relations could highly damage the India's goals of investments. On Saturday, the global personal technology major Apple placed all fresh production orders on hold for its Taiwanese supplier Wistron. So on Saturday, the company Apple, which we all know, a global technology leader, so it has placed all of its production on hold. Means it has stopped all of its new production or all of its new products on hold, and then it did so because it did so to help its Taiwanese supplier Western. This embargo means this statement or this event may affect all Western units, but the trigger was one of the biggest expressions of industrial unrest in India in recent years. So while this may help the this may be an embargo which may help the Taiwanese Western units, it has raised several fights in India. At a new facility set up by the firm in Kolar, Karnataka, to manufacture iPhones, among other things. So mainly in the regions of Kolar and in Kolar, Karnataka. So a shop was set up to manufacture the iPhones, and also some other things, among other things, iPhones, among other things. So what the author says in this para is that, yeah, the on Saturday, the global technology leader Apple had stopped all of its fresh or all of its new productions, such as the iPhone 12 and etc. It has stopped all those products only because for its Taiwanese supplier Western. While that may be helpful for Western, it's not helpful for India because it has raised several fights in Kolar in Karnataka, India, where they have set up some shops to manufacture many phones, and in those phones they would also manufacture iPhones. Violence broke out at the unit on December 12th after several workers raised slogans protesting against non-payment of their dues, a protest that escalated. So the problem which happened in the shops in the region of Kolar in Karnataka, the problems are that many people, many workers especially, have raised their voice, and they have been actively protesting that that they are not getting paid enough. And this protest first broke out on December 12th, and this protest was escalating ever since it broke out. In Kolar, Western claimed 437 crore rupees of damages from the incident event, even as the center and the state government reacted with clarity, given the importance of the project for India to establish its credentials as an alternative manufacturing base to China. Um, Western claimed 437 crores of damages from the incident, even as the center and the state government reacted with clarity. So, to all of this fight which happened in the region of Kolar in Karnataka, the company Western, it claimed that in that specific region, there were goods which were worth 437 crores to Western, and even the state government and the central government, they had so much interest on this topic. Given the importance, mainly because of the importance of India, which is a bit similar to the importance of China, because both of these countries, India and China, both of them make the duplicates of another company, of another product like Apple. The state said it was distributed, and around 160 people were arrested. And the state government has said that yes, these illegal phones were actually distributed, and 60 people were arrested. The center asked the BS Yediyurappa administration for an expeditious inquiry to identify the to identify the culprits and ensure the investor sentiment is not affected due to one of to is not affected due to one off incident. So the police have done an investigation on this matter, and they have tried to identify the culprits or the main people who are behind this who are behind all of this mess. The Prime Minister has reported to be very worried about the development and all necessary support has been promised so that the firm may restart operations. And the Prime Minister was obviously very sad to hear about this because um, why would you be happy if you heard something bad about our country? And all necessary support has been promised so that the firm may restart operations. And he has given full support to spread the investigation. That may take a while now, given that Apple's own probe has found glaring lapses in Western's treatment of its staffers. So Apple itself has started its own probe or its own investigation or inquiry, and by doing so, it found some glaring lapses or shocking facts in Western's treatment of its staffers. From playing victim initially, Western has been compelled to change tack. It now claims the damages from the violence were about 50 crore rupees and has fired top official handling in India operations for failing to ensure employees got their entire dues in a timely manner. So the Western actually controls everything that's happening in India in according to the products of Apple. For example, in the area of Kolar in Karnataka, it told that it now claims the damages from the violence were about 50 crore. So the damages were worth 50 crore rupees from playing victim initially. So initially, Western was it was the victim for the as Apple stopped the production of its new products. And Apple has noticed that in its own probe which it has conducted. Apple has noticed that Western, which is responsible for the Aptronics or the other Apple stores which are running in India, they were not actually properly ran. Some people were not getting their salaries on time, and etc. Problems were there, and that's exactly why the people were protesting, as they were not getting enough money. Perhaps if designated officials for hearing labor grievances had reacted adequately when Western's 1,300 odd regular staffers or its 8,000 odd contract workers at Kolar raised a red flag about wages, this may not have to come to pass. Only if the Indian government or only if the Apple authorities took this to call up this seriously before, then they may have stopped this from happening and from continuing until now. And also there was one situation where 1,03,000 odd regular staffers or its 8,000 odd contract workers. So these many workers have raised a red flag, or they have raised question or their voice against the manner in which the money is being paid for them, and not a single authority responded or replied to this. If they did reply, now we wouldn't be facing this situation. If anything, enforcement of labor laws for employees benefit will make India an even more attractive and contrasting alternative to China, where labor exploitation is rife. If anything, enforcement of labor laws for employees benefit will make India an even more attractive and contrasting alternative to China, where the labor exploitation is rife. If this situation does India any help, the only help which it barely does is that it makes India another alternative protective country like China. So as so if this situation or the mistakes which have been happening in India in a sector of Apple, if they would help India in any way, the only way in which they would help is that they would make India to become another country like China, which makes the alternative products of various companies. With global firms under pressure to exhibit higher standards in environmental, social, and corporate governance, India also needs to up its game on enforcing compliance with the loss of the land and treating labor employment disputes in even-handed manner. So from now on, India needs to take all the situations seriously, and it needs to handle them personally. Um, when a showcase project becomes an exemplary basket case within months, for whatever reasons, the repercussions are deeper and wider. So when India does not care about these things, the repercussions or the consequences, they are very dangerous. With the country on the cusp of a new labor law regime being marketed as a business friendly regime, misgivings about their provisions or unresponsive systems for employees grievances can only foment more such unrest. So at present, the parliament in India is building up new laws for the employees, and it is trying to create a new employee regime. So even though if it is working even though if it is working so hard on the new law or regime, if it does not resolve the problems of employees right now, the employees will not gain trust. The employees will not gain faith or trust from India's lawmaking process or India's government itself. It may be a good time for the government to rekindle a tripartite dialogue mechanism with trade unions and employers, like the erstwhile Indian Labour Conference, not held since 2015. So, this is not something that only India can handle, because this also involves Apple. So, only if Indian government, the Apple authorities, and only if they could discuss on this issue, like a meet which wa- like a meet which was held on 2015, which was known as the Indian Labour Conference. So only if this meet can be held again, these problems can be solved. Thank you.